What's up, everyone? Ty, your friendly neighborhood alcoholic and addict in recovery, just past my 13 years, about a week out. And today I want to go over why I'm here. What got me to this point? What pushed me over the edge? What was I doing? How bad was I? I was pretty bad. Everyone's got your story. This is mine. And if you're here watching it, you must be interested in some way or another. But here it is. Go ahead and sit back, relax. I'm not going to make it too long. I'm not going to drag it out. I'm not going to go into every single detail, but I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from. Maybe you're coming from a similar kind of story / background, but I hope this relates to you and you don't have to feel bad about it. You have to grow from it. You are going to learn from it. This is your experience, your story. Here's mine. I started using in my early teens. I would like to say around 15 or 16 years old is when I first got my taste for alcohol, my first experience with alcohol. And it kind of was peer pressure, like most people, not everyone. Once again, this is my story, but that's how it started. And then curiosity got me. Curiosity got the best of me. Then I started getting more and more into it. I found pills. I found other drugs, and it just snowballed out of control, literally out of control, because I became curious. I enjoyed that feeling. I enjoyed that high. I started just chasing it. What could get me more? What could get better? What could get better and better and better? And then eventually just became out of control. I became a loose cannon, a monster. I was a monster. And it took a long time for me to realize this. I went over a decade of people telling me I had a problem. But here's the kicker. My alcoholism, everyone knew. I was a daily drinker. I was drinking at work, on my way to work, on my way home, kind of just around the clock. I was hiding it throughout the house. I was drinking throughout the house in secret. Well, at least I thought it was in secret. But no one knew about my drug use. It wasn't until my third overdose. I was visiting my kids, much younger than they are now. And my ex-wife now, girlfriend at the time, wasn't letting me take the kids because, well, I was under, the influence. And like a good parent, they were like, no, you need to come see your kids over here. You can't take them. I thought that was unfair, but now that I look at it, it was. I would have done the same. Like, who would let, oh yeah, you're drunk. Why don't you go ahead and put them in the car seat, hopefully, and drive off? So I was saying goodbye to my oldest. At the time, he was about 8 years old. And in my system at the time was a lot of drugs and a lot of alcohol. I went to hug him. I went to say goodbye and went to, reach down and give him a hug. And I collapsed on him. I had overdosed. I woke up in a hospital. I don't know how much longer later. The time frame is still, no one really knows. Could have been an hour, could have been 10 minutes. I don't know. And I woke up and my ex-wife, girlfriend at the time, was sitting in a chair next to my mother. And I'm like, fuck, I've been caught. They found out. They know. Luckily, doctors can't release, what they found in my system because I was over the age of 18 and I was a legal adult. So I was like, cool, I got away with this. They just think it's alcohol. They didn't think that. Well, they thought it was alcohol, but they knew there was more. There was. So I had that pamphlet table, bedside table thing with pamphlets on it of rehabilitation packets sitting on it. And I was told that I need to pick one. I need to go and participate because I wasn't well. I wasn't right. And in my mind, I was thinking to myself, this is the third time this has happened to me. The first two times, no one knew about. No one knew that I'd overdosed in the kitchen. No one knew I'd overdosed, and someone dropped me and left me on the sidewalk, kind of by the emergency room doors. No one knew that. No one knew that I was doing drugs all the time. No one knew I was doing pills with drugs, with alcohol, all the time. And it spiraled out of control. I became that monster. If I didn't have them, I got irritable, I got angry, I got hateful. I would not think before I said things. And sometimes it was like, it doesn't care, it doesn't matter what came out of my mouth. That's just verbal diarrhea. And I hurt people. I said things, I did things that hurt a lot of people. I stole things. I used to shop off the back of FedEx trucks, to get drug money. I sold things around my house to get drug money. I had credit cards that, I don't know why they do this, but I had credit cards that give you cash back. Well, I had maxed those out, but the entire time I was thinking to myself how functional I was. Like, I can do all this stuff and keep my job. At one point in time, I had 2 jobs to fund my problem. Fund, not fun. But I thought I was all right. I thought I was doing fine. I survived. I lived, and I kept going. And everything was good. At least so I thought. I was couch surfing, living place to place, mail going to several different places, and it was just, God, it was dumb. And now I look back at it, it just is like, God, what the fuck was I doing? And I thought I had it. I thought I was under control. I thought it was all good, but I wasn't. So when I went to rehab, I first started the detox program, which should be done underneath medical supervision. I don't recommend it. I'm not a doctor. Don't do it on your own. Don't just be doing drugs and alcohol for 15, 20 plus years. I'm like, you know what? I want to stop today and I don't need anyone's help. It's actually highly dangerous. So in my opinion, in my experience, please seek out medical help. I was in detox 7 days on top of being thrown inside the psych ward because when I was detoxing, I was having other problems. I was hearing things in my own head, conversations that I didn't have. Just a whole lot of blank spaces in my memory, and I didn't know who I was because I was this monster. I was this just demon. And 7 days later, after I started medication, I started speaking to a professional. I decided to take the rest of the treatment plan and go into a rehab that I would participate in AA. Their system helped me get clean and sober. Their system saved my life. I know a lot of people don't like AA, probably because you're going to the wrong meetings, but it's just there to help you. It's just there to offer assistance, to show you the path. You have to walk down it. You have to continue it. It's not going to do it for you. I'm sorry for you people that think that when you get clean and sober that someone should do it for you. You have to do it by yourself. Maybe not by yourself, but you have to do it yourself. You have to do the work. No one's going to do it for you. There's no magical, just like, oh, boom, you're clean, you're sober. You can carry on with a normal life. That shit is super not even real. Oh my God, I can't understand how people think this. Now, I'm not saying everyone does. I'm not saying it's you, but there's some out there. AA to me is very special. You might not like it because maybe you went to the wrong meeting. Maybe you went to a bad meeting. And I'm very sorry for that because there are good meetings out there. There are people out there that just want to go and share their story, and because it helps them. That's what it is. Just simply sharing their story helps them. It helps me. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this. I want to share my story to help someone. I want to help your friend, your brother, your cousin, your sister, your roommate, whoever it is that you're here watching this. I want to help them. I want to give them my experience, my tools, my thoughts, and what I do. I just hit 13 years. And with what I'm doing, I think it works. It works for me. But maybe not so much someone else. Maybe they can take a couple bits and pieces. Wandering off track. It took me 28 days inside a rehabilitation clinic. I was there inpatient 7 days a week, no breaks, 5 o'clock in the morning wake-ups, and sessions, groups usually stopped around 9 or 10-ish, sometimes 8 if we were lucky, sometimes 8. But it helped save my life. And I didn't realize it until like a weekend. The first week I kind of fucked off. I kind of played around like this isn't, like, I don't know what this is. But then I started listening to some of these people talk. Then I started listening to what the group leader was saying. And I was like, holy shit, that applies to me. That was me. I had that problem. I have that problem. And I always will. It's never going to go away. I may be in recovery. I may be in sobriety. Pick one. I don't care. But I'm always going to be identified as an alcoholic. I'm always going to be identified as a drug addict because that's who I was. That's my identity. And it makes me the person who I am today. If I just be like, I'm not an alcoholic anymore, then in my mindset, that's telling me that I can go drink because somehow I cured myself. It is a disease. And you can fight it, but you can't cure it. It's always there. It's always going to be there. And it sucks. But for a lot of people, that's what defines them. That's what it is for me. I now look at it as a strength. I was able to battle addiction from multiple substances, pills, drugs, every kind of alcohol. If it had an alcohol content in it, I was consuming it. But that's what it takes. Is sometimes a rehab. Sometimes it takes a support group or a life coach, which to me is, I think, someone who wants your money to help you go through life, or they teach you things and they show you things. That's what a therapist does, or a sponsor from AA, which sponsors are free. And sometimes I think they're more of a hard ass than a life coach because of sponsors. I've talked to sponsors that call you every day at 5 o'clock in the morning. If you don't answer, they're beating on your door to make sure you're A, still alive, B, you're not drinking, C, you're not using, and that you have practiced your goals for the day. Those are the hardcore ones. Those guys aren't fucking around. But it takes sometimes that to get clean, sometimes that to get sober. For me, it took me 3 overdoses. It took me a lot of learning. And sometimes the best lessons in life are learned the hardest ways. I was lucky. I was fortunate that I'm sitting here today talking to you guys, sharing my story, and not eating through a tube, living in a bed, in a coma, or in a box 6 feet under. I am blessed. I am fortunate, and I am lucky. Some people aren't. And it makes me sad. I've watched so many people die because of alcohol. And it's hard for me because knowing how I was, who I am now, and what I went through, I just think that, like, well, I did it. Why can't you? But everyone's story is different. Everyone's struggle is different. Everyone's fight is different. And I'm learning that because I'm constantly learning things. Just because I'm sitting here telling you guys I'm 13 years, I got it, I know it, I don't have all the answers. I am far from having all the answers. I just have some. And I'm getting more and more throughout my journey, throughout the road that I have to walk down. I've had help. I've had a hand. I've had people tell me some things and talk to me, and I've discussed and like, wow, you know what? That's good. I like that. And I've kept it. And it's worked. Some of it, no. But some of it, most of it has. A lot of it stuck with me. And some of the stuff I still use to this day, which I'm going to tell you. I'm going to share these things with you. Maybe not right this second, but I'm going to share it. My biggest takeaway from this today is if you or someone you know, someone you care about, a friend, relative, family, whatever, coworker, whatever, you cannot make them get sober. You can't. You can tell them 500 times a day until you're blue in the fucking face, but you cannot do it. They have to make that choice. You cannot make anyone do it, because here's what's going to happen. You're going to make them go to rehab somehow. Not sure how, but you're going to make them do it. Hypothetically, this is magical land right now. And they're going to get out of rehab. The first fucking thing they're going to do is they're going to go start using again. Because you made them do it. They didn't want it. So what you have to do, what we're going to discuss on this channel is how we can approach that. How we can talk to someone. How we can show them how they look through your eyes. Or if it's you, maybe you do realize it, you just don't know how. If you are that person, leave a comment. Ask me a question. I will respond. I promise you. I always respond. But we're going to discuss how we can get into help. What it's like. What are those things? What do you get to look forward to? The fears of being clean, the fears of being sober, what life is like, because when you're drinking for so long and you're using for so long, you forget these things. It's literally like being born again. You're like a whole new you for the most part. But no, you're a whole new person. You get to experience a lot of things with a clear mind, open eyes, and seeing things again, but kind of for the first time, the real way, the way it's meant to be. So, stick around, subscribe, follow, notify the bell. So every time I post something, it dings for you. Leave a comment. Guys, I promise I'll respond. Don't be a dick. Once again, don't be shitty today. All right? But don't be scared of it. I'll catch you guys all next time, all right? Thanks for listening. Have a good one.